Hi, friends. Welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. Thank you for hanging in there with me while I missed last week and battling the flu. So, anyway, here we are. And I'm going to try to keep this nice and short and sweet for you. Just give you a stack that covers a fair bit of different genres. But if I talk too long, I still kind of get a coughing thing going. I don't want to do that to you. So, anyway, we'll just speed through. Hi, if you're new here, not always sick, just sometimes. And here is where on this channel, we just talk about and show some of the new releases that came out this Friday, reissues and represses and new releases. So we start out with a pick of the week. There is a list down below that is, you will see a lot more on the list than what we're actually going to talk about. But it's, if we talked about everything, we'd be here way too long. So trying to keep it easy for you to watch and get through. And we always start out with my pick of the week. Now, this might seem like an unusual pick, but it's just such a nice piece that I had to pick it. This is the various Roadrunner United, and this is the concert live at the Nokia Theater in New York on December 15th of 2005. And this covers over 3 LPs of, it's the first time that it's ever been on vinyl, and it's the classic 2005 live show that was celebrating the first 25 years of Roadrunner Records. And it's a once in a lifetime performances by all the labels, all stars, plus some guests. And this is the only live versions of tracks from the All Stars session album on Roadrunner. So this is a limited edition, and it is on black and white and red vinyl. And I believe since it's a triple, it's probably 1 red, 1 white, and 1 black. But when I was looking at the artists that are covered on this, it's kind of like any, fan of metal music. It's like your all-star list here. Biohazard, Merciful Fate, King Diamond, Deicide, Triavirum, Typo Negative, Sepultura, Slipknot. I mean, they cover a lot of great songs, and they do it very well. So anyway, this is a really nice piece. If you're into this, you probably need this in your collection if you love metal music, like in that vein. Okay, so this is my pick this week, and now we'll move on to what else is on the list. Just a short one, you guys. I won't keep you all night. Now, this first one, this kind of makes me laugh. This is AC times DC. And this has nothing to do with AC/DC, the rock band from Australia. This AC times DC is kind of the short version of Antichrist Demon Core. And this album is called Satan is King, and it comes to us on Prosthetic Records. So they're an all-American hardcore punk band that was formed in Los Angeles in 2003. So they're perhaps most noted for a couple of EPs. He had it coming from 2005 and the second coming in 2012. Anyway, there was a 5-year break with them from 2005 to 2010. And the spirit of the band never really faded, but with over 10 years on the cutting board, they never actually put out a full length. And they participated in compilations, split EPs, and some demos. But finally, they put out their first proper full length entitled Antichrist Demon Core, Satan is King. Okay, so, or is that what it is? Yeah, Satan is King. Okay, so, which is also what their AC/DC bits stand for. Like I said, that's Antichrist Demon Core. Okay, so 11 years is a pretty long time to wait for somebody to release a debut album, but there you go. Whatever, enough about that. The antidote, this is what the sticker here, it has really tiny writing on it, so I thought I would save you the trouble of pulling out your magnifying glass and tell you what it says. And this is like, the sticker says, the antidote to excess greed and mindless indulgence, politically charged while distributing sonically raw, mindless, oh man, I can't even, sorry you guys, let me back up. The antidote to success, greed, and mindless indulgence, politically charged while distributing sonically raw dispatches at breakneck speed. The album is a 15-part manifesto of fury and a visceral open sore of aggression, embracing grindcore, power violence, and more. Limited edition, white vinyl. So there you go. What is power violence? I mean, I remember in Clockwork Orange, I know what ultra violence is, but I don't know if I've heard power violence as a genre. So that's interesting too. Anyway, it's here if you so desire. Next up, we have Arrested Development, Don't Fight Your Demons. And this comes to us through the Rough Nation label. The two-time Grammy Award-winning, groundbreaking, iconic music group and hip-hop pioneers continue their forward march of curating conscious, revolutionary music formulated to bring social issues to the forefront and ignite change. Whoops, sorry about that glare. This album is no exception. The 16-track album features a selection of eclectic musicians, and the group assures fans and listeners this is no hit-or-miss album. Each track is a distinct style, flow, and vibe with influential wordplay and infectious soundscapes. So they break down and take apart worldly injustices, the current state of racism, grueling masks of politics, and on the flip side offer empowering gems on how to overcome and rise through, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. You know, side one is addressing it, side two is telling you how to deal with it. I think that seems kind of, it's interesting to me. The production throughout the entire album channels a continuous kaleidoscope of invigorating bass, soul, funk, worldly tones, and even innovative cadences, ear-pleasing to a younger generation of music connoisseurs. Okay. So Don't Fight Your Demons ideally serves as a how-to handbook brimming with excellent lyricism, storytelling, and cognizant awareness delivery. So here we go, Arrested Development, still bringing it. All right, this is The Blaze, and this is called Jungle. This comes to us on the Animal 63 label. The Blaze is back after the release of their first album, Dance Hall. The producer-director duo went on a world tour of festivals and sold-out venues. Guillaume and Jonathan Ulrich composed and recorded their new album with this live perspective in mind. So introspective electronic music carried by images and melodies that are always drunk with emotion. Okay, now here we go. This is Cake Reissue. Prolonging the Magic. This is through Legacy Recordings. Now, Prolonging the Magic was their third studio album. So it's been released for the first time on 180-gram black vinyl. Remastered audio of the 13-track album includes Never There, Let Me Go, and Sheep Go to Heaven. So AllMusic had written about this. Supposedly their attempt to make a smugness and irony-free album. Cake's third release does hold back at the barbs a bit more than usual, and the strain shows. In these guys' hands, love songs without smirks and pop tunes straight up come out forced. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I think it's a great album. You know, the sole successful single on this was Never There, which is just an amazing tune. It's so great. The album was recorded after the departure of guitarist Greg Brown and features a rotating lineup of musicians to replace him. One of them, I don't know how to pronounce that name, Xan, Zan McCurdy became his full-time replacement. So on its opening week, Prolonging the Magic sold 44,000 copies, and debuting at number 33 on the Billboard 200 chart. So the album was given a parental advisory sticker, not because of profanity, but for what was deemed to be satanic-themed lyrics. So some of the original copies did not feature a sticker, but the only difference being at the song called Satan Is My Motor, featured, it was retitled Motor. Now on this one, it's back in its regular title there. The song Hem of Your Garment was featured in the film Me, Myself, and Irene, just FYI. But anyway, so I just thought that was an interesting story that it got the parental advisory sticker the first time out. Okay, so now I think we've talked enough about Satan today. Let's move on. I don't know that this is any better, but this is a new album by Miley Cyrus called Endless Summer Vacation, and it comes from the Columbia Records Group. So it's the eagerly anticipated New album from Miley Cyrus. This collection is Miley's 8th studio album and the strongest and most confident she's ever been. With the music and imagine imagery of endless summer vacations serving as a reflection of that. So it was recorded in Los Angeles and produced with Kid Harpoon, Greg Kurstin, Mike Will made it, and Tyler Johnson. So Miley describes the album as her love letter to LA. And you can get this on the vinyl. I believe it's just straight up black vinyl and or CD. Okay, so both are here. And I don't know, you guys, it escapes me. I don't know what people kind of hear in her voice, but I hate to say it, she's got a terrible voice. I just don't know who is listening to that and thinking it's really great. It's just, to me, it just sounds like somebody after they smoked 500 cigarettes and backed it up with some shots of whiskey, and then just started singing. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. I don't get it, but hey, it's not for me to ask why, but why not? All right, this is Half Alive, Conditions of a Punk. This is through RCA Records. Now, this is the second studio album by Half Alive. It was originally released in 2022, so this is probably one that's just rolling in now because of supply chain issues that didn't get it like pressed again quickly. It was preceded by the singles What's Wrong, Summerland, Make of It, Hot Tea, Move Me, Did I Make You Up, and High Up. So this album strays from their dancey roots of Now Not Yet, and instead of the band, they deliver something much more emotional on this record, okay? It's despite its name, this album is not a gritty punk rock album. I thought it would be. Instead of grunge guitar and distorted lyrics, the best way to describe this album sonically is like glittery. Half Alive also seemed to be rewriting the definition of punk. Instead of the reclusive emo haircut guy who's screaming at his mom, this seems to be that punk means being more in tune with your emotions. So that's kind of, it's a weird way to describe it, but you know, if you listen to it, you'll kind of figure that too. This is cool. This is Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power Live in the Hands of the Fans. This is MVD audio, and this is a vinyl document of the reformed Stooges. That was Iggy Pop, Scott Ashton, James Williamson, Steve McKay, and Mike Watt. And Raw Power performance at All Tomorrow's Parties in September of 2010. A mind-blowing night for sure. Iggy and the band sound flawless as they rip through the archetype riffage of Search and Destroy, Raw Power, Gimme Danger, and more. Punk rock, no doubt. So getting this top-notch performance of the entire Raw Power album and by the Stooges realized like a lifelong dream. So here it is, and this one is on clear red with black swirl vinyl too. Next up, we have Ivy, Apartment Life, and this is on Bar None, and this is the 25th, believe it or not, 25th anniversary of this record, Ivy's second album. It's an impressive leap forward for the trio, finding them consolidating their strengths while moving into new territory. So Ivy has a lush sound that is derived equally from ethereal indie pop and classic 60s pop. So Dominique Durand's voice is alternatingly haunting and beautiful, giving the songs an otherworldly quality, while Adam Schlesinger and Andy Chase his rhythm section keep the music pinned down to earth. So the result is this melodic and memorable and lovely. It's a rare late 90s pop record that sounds utterly modern while evoking classic traditions. And this is on white vinyl for this 25th anniversary edition. Okay, next up, this is Peggy Lee Classics. This is on the Curb label. And it's a 10-track budget-priced collection that features some of Peggy Lee's biggest hits, including A Taste of Honey, The Shadow of Your Smile, Hey Look Me Over, Boy from Ipanema, Big Spender, and the Alley Cat song. Although there are better collections available, this isn't a bad choice for casual fans on a budget, but you know, I don't really, how could you not have Fever on this record? That's like her biggest hit. Maybe they just couldn't get rights to it, or I don't know. Was that, oh, this is the original Capitol recording, so was that on a different label maybe? I don't know, but it just seems to me it's It falls flat because that was her biggest hit ever. So I don't know. I'm not sure. That could be the reason. All right, next up, this is Dean Martin. Whoops. No, that's not in the right order. Sorry, guys. This is the Mars Volta. And this is Landscape Tantrums. This is unfinished original recordings of Deloused in the Comatorium. Okay, so we talked about that the last time I was with you, those Mars Volta reissues. Well, this is like the lead up to their debut. Okay, so this is on the Clouds Hill label. It was lost for 2 decades. The recent rediscovery of Landscape Tantrums, the first attempt at recording the music that would become the Mars Volta, Deloused in the Comatorium, revealed an important and up until now missing chapter in the group's evolution. So it was self-recorded by Omar at Burbank's Mad Dog Studios with a head-spinning 4 days. Landscape Tantrums captures Deloused in somewhat embryonic form, though much of what would make the Mars Volta's debut album such an electrifying, sublime experience was already in place. So the fearless invention, the fusion, the futurist rock elements, and the traditions from outside of the rock orthodoxy, the sense of virtuosity, working in service of an emotional effect. So this is for purists. I don't think everybody's going to be jumping on this, but it's a nice piece. And like I said, this was kind of like the Lost album, and there are people interested in that. So cool. All right, now this is Dean Martin, All-Time Greatest Hits. This is on the Curb label as well. So it's a 12-track budget-priced collection. Features some of Dean's biggest hits on Capitol Records, including That's Amore, You Belong to Me, Memories Are Made of This, Volare, Standing on the Corner, and You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You. Although this isn't a bad budget-priced disc, there are far better Martin compilations available, offering more songs and better sound for not much more money. So, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, then we have Kendra Morris, and this is Babel. This on through Coal Mine Records. So this is back on vinyl for the first time since the initial, very super limited self-release in 2016. I think there were only like 50 copies initially when her self-release happened, and she did kind of all the artwork by hand, like collaged the covers. So this kind of lightning bolt, sort of, it's supposed to be a play on a lightning bolt. That was like to sort of keep it as close as they could to the original because it was black and gold. But anyway, I'm just letting you know, just for reference, there was hardly any of these available. So she delivers 3 new tracks on this reissue, which play to her strengths and hint at a new horizon. So Playing Games is a track that lathers on retro soul perfume, complete with strong bass lines and a warbling groove, and then Dial Back picks up hip-hop beats and super distorted guitar lines. But the closer, Ride On, points in a different direction with very sparse, artsy layers of sound and singing. So this is for fans of people like Amy Winehouse and Sharon Jones, and they'll find a lot to like on this. Morris melds past loves with future sounds, all anchored by her soaring vocals. And this is on gold swirl vinyl, plus it comes with a download card. Okay, then we have Van Morrison, and this is Moving on Skiffle. It's 2 LPs. It's on the Virgin Music International label. So several decades after his childhood hangouts in famed Belfast record store Atlantic Records, Van Morrison revisits his love of the genre with his new album, Moving on Skiffle. So launching with lead Streamline Train, the 23-track album takes a homemade style that exploded across Britain in the mid-1950s and infuses it with sophistication, soulfulness, and an underlying message on the importance of freedom and living your own terms, his lifetime philosophy. This is 2 LPs on a limited edition blue vinyl, and it does tell you that there. I saw Van Morrison one time, and I was so disappointed because, he has like a lot of really beautiful songs, and he like raced through it, just rushed everything. And that kind of sucked because, people had paid a lot of fucking money for those tickets, and it was like pouring down rain all night, and it was a real drag to get there. And then just to have him kind of suck at doing his own wonderful songs kind of it soured me on the man a little bit. So in the rear view. Next up, Pucifer, Money Shot. This is through BMG Rights Management US LLC. Okay, this is just a vinyl version. It features an exclusive mix of Simultaneous featuring Daniel Ash. So not a lot about that one. That should have been colored vinyl, but it's just black vinyl. This is RZA presents Bobby Digital and the Pit of Snakes. This is on Rough Nation, 2022 release, this one. The founding member of the multimedia supergroup, the Wu-Tang Clan, introduced the world to his alter ego in his 1998 album, Bobby Digital in Stereo. So with lush digital orchestral sounds and inventive beats, he was putting the love of comic books on full display through its concept and execution. I'm a little tongue-tied. I'm out of practice, you guys. Now it's exactly 23 years since its original release. RZA announces a partnership with Z2 Comics to give the character a story in the medium which inspired its creation. So, Bobby Digital, Pit Full of Snakes pairs RZA with White Noise Studios member Ryan O'Sullivan, whose last collaboration with Poppy was wildly celebrated by fans and critics alike. So, with Sound and Fury artist Vasilis Lolos rounding out the team to bring the world of Bobby Digital to life. So, there you go. This is actually pretty great. This is Sleaford Mods, UK Grimm, it's on the Rough Trade label. Throughout their music, the duo's poetic protest and electronic resistance has seen them consistently chart and call out their times with an eloquence and an attitude that has made them one of the most urgent and unique voices in modern music. So hailed by the likes of Liam Gallagher, Seth Meyers, Iggy Pop, Amyl and the Sniffers, and a legion of other loyal fans whose devotion for the band would rival most sports supporters. So continuing this sonic vocation on their new album, Jason Williamson and Andrew Fearn's creative evolution now finds them capturing the atmosphere of their era too. Though no strangers to the dance floor, the minimal yet immersive beats and grooves of UK Grimm's tracks, which include collaborations with Dry Cleaning's Florence Shaw and Jane's Addiction Perry Farrell, and Dave Navarro among them, add a new physical dimension to Sleaford Mod's sound and makes them and their words more vital than ever. So music for body and mind. This is on limited edition silver vinyl, and the CD is here for you too. So this is like one of the good ones this week, I think, for sure. Oh, and so is this. This is the Smile Europe Live Recordings 2022. Now this is extremely limited, and it's through XL Recordings. It's a limited edition, but we only got half the quantity we even ordered. So these are rare, and they're going to go. It's a vinyl only live EP, Smiles Europe 2022 live recordings. The release marks the momentous debut European 30-plus stop tour, including illustrious venues like London Roundhouse and Berlin's Tempodrome and Primavera Sound in Barcelona, performed by Tom York, Johnny Greenwood, and Tom Skinner. The Smile. So I would not sleep on this if you're interested in that, because they're going to fly. In fact, come in now. Just come in now. Get it. Okay, this is Ali Farkature. This is called Voyager, and the label is World Circuit. Ali Farkature, very well known as one of the most influential and talented guitarists in Africa, and has, probably that Africa's ever produced, okay? His legacy and impact are hard to overstate. Ali's sound merged from much-loved traditional Malian music styles, which would, make distinct elements of the blues, resulting in a creation of groundbreaking new genre, now well known as the desert blues. So, earning him 3 Grammy Awards and widespread reverence, Voyager is the first release of previously unheard music since 2006's Savain, and features a collection of recordings captured at various points in Ali's illustrious career. The album, which features fellow Malian superstar Oumou Sangaré on 3 tracks, so it affirms Ali's status as a globally revered legend of African music. So you can get that now. Okay, then this is various artists, music from the motion picture The Devil Wears Prada. This is on Real Gone Music. The soundtrack to The Devil Wears Prada captures the agony and the ecstasy of being a fashionista, with introspective tracks and fabulous runway anthems, including the queen of them all, Madonna's Vogue, is on here. And it includes a printed inner sleeve. It's on black and white marbled vinyl. All right, then we have various artists, music from the motion picture The Lost Boys, and this comes to us through Friday Music. Lost Boys is one of the best movie soundtracks of the 80s. Every time you hear it, takes you back decades. It's not a hard rock album at all. It's very diverse between soft rock, pop, and goth. If you grew up in the 80s, you'll probably be very familiar with it. If you've seen the movie and enjoy it, this is very nostalgic. There's cover versions from Roger Daltrey doing Elton John's Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and Echo and the Bunnymen covering The Doors' People Are Strange. So this is on gold marble vinyl. Now listen, this is, in my opinion, overpriced, and everything through Friday Music seems to be. They're just like that. And for the prices they charge, this packaging feels to me extremely flimsy. It's, really thin cardboard. There's nothing great about this. This thing has been re-released several times. It's been on red vinyl, it's been on blue vinyl, and now it's on this gold swirl vinyl. But I don't know. I mean, nostalgia, yeah, it's one thing. But like I said, I kind of hate that this is so expensive, and it's not from us. Talk to Friday Music about that, because all their stuff is like this. And with the way the record prices are soaring, I expect a little more quality. If we're paying, these ridiculous prices, this is just, I don't know, embarrassing. But anyway, just my thought. Now, that's where I'm going to wrap it up for you. So you can go and enjoy your weekend now and your Friday afternoon. And thanks for joining me today. And again, I apologize for missing out on last week. There were some really good releases. Of course, had Ronaldo put up the Kaliukas. We do still here in the store have some signed copies of the CD if you're interested in that. Just only if you come in the store is the only way it's available. But anyway, there was a lot of good stuff out last week, and I'm sorry to have missed that for you. But anyway, going to post the list for this week down below. There's other stuff. There's a new, A$AP Rocky, and I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Rilo Kiley. These are just things I just didn't have time to grab and get to, but there's a nice a list for you down below. So thanks again for joining me. I will see you next week, everybody. Have a great weekend.